Do you like fishing? Fly fishing, angling, saltwater fishing, there's so many different types. Maybe you just like to stick to your one type of fishing and not step out of your comfort zone. Now, what about grant writing? You may be comfortable with state grants and foundation grants, but what about federal grants? You may be really confused right now, but picture this. State and foundation grants are like fishing in a pond. You'll probably catch a decent fish or two, or maybe even the same type of fish year after year. But federal grants? That's like fishing in the ocean. The fish are bigger, there are more of them, and the rewards can be massive. We get a lot of questions about whether federal grants are worth the effort or if they're just too complicated to tackle. But trust me, they can be game changers for your organization. And the best part, they're probably easier than you think. With the right know-how, you can navigate the federal grant waters like a pro. I'm Haleigh Jinkins, founder of Golden Miles Grant Writing and coach at Learn Grant Writing, home of the Global Grant Writers Collective, a supportive community where grant writers share resources and expertise. In this video, we're going to take a close look at federal grants and show you why they're not as intimidating as they may seem, and how they can bring in some serious funding for your projects. We're your #1 source for continuing education on grant writing. If you're a regular, welcome back. If you're new here, thanks for joining me. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button to stay up to date in your grant writing journey. So let's talk about federal grants. What makes them different from state or foundation grants? Well, federal grants come from the national government and support big picture programs in areas like public policy, health, and education. Think of them as your big tuna or halibut. In the grant world, coming from heavy-hitting agencies like the Department of Health and Human Services or the National Science Foundation. So, when you're casting your line out for federal grants, where do you look? The go-to place is Grants.gov. It's a one-stop shop where you can search and apply for all kinds of federal funding opportunities. Plus, you can also keep an eye on the websites of specific federal grant agencies. They often list their own grant programs and deadlines. Before you can apply for any grants, you need a UEI. That's Unique Entity Identifier. And you need to register that UEI through SAM.gov, the System for Award Management. This is a necessary first step for all federal grant applications. Once you're registered with SAM.gov, you can then set up your Grants.gov workspace. And if you're unsure how to set up your Grants.gov workspace, we've got you covered. Check out the video we've linked below for a step-by-step guide. And stick around till the end of this video because we'll also link a tutorial that'll walk you through the entire setup process. Who can snag a federal grant? The good news is a lot of different types of organizations can qualify. Nonprofits, state and local governments, schools, small businesses, and sometimes even individuals depending on the grant. Each one has its own set of rules about who can apply, so you'll want to check out the specifics for each opportunity. Now, before we move on, let's bust a pretty common myth. A lot of people seem to think that federal grants are way harder to get than other grants. Some people ignore federal grants entirely, solely on the basis that they're too hard. But honestly, it's not that they're harder, it's just that they usually involve more labor and time. You'll need to prepare more detailed proposals, make sure your organization has a solid foundation for managing these grants, follow stricter guidelines, and do some serious reporting. It's a bit more labor intensive, but federal grants are not necessarily harder to win than state or foundation grants. Heck, even our founder Meredith only likes to work on federal grants. Once you figure out what makes funders tick, writing federal grants can quickly become your most valuable skill set. A pro tip for federal grant writing: when you've got a hook on a big federal grant fish and start reeling it in, don't be afraid to call on a friend to help pull it in with you. This is something we actively teach how to do in the Global Grant Writers Collective. Bringing on other experts with specialized knowledge is an easy way to boost your chances of winning. Outsource what you can. Grant writing, budget prep, program evaluation, you name it. Teaming up can make a huge difference, lightening your load and making sure that everything is on point. Another question we get a lot in the Global Grant Writers Collective is about how much to charge for federal grants. We provide coaching on how much to charge. Take Visa, for example. Her husband told her that us unicorns were crazy for coaching her to charge more than $5,000. We advised a minimum of $16,000. She sent over the proposal and had it back and signed within 30 minutes. She now charges a minimum of $22,000 for complex healthcare and education-related grants, plus a few thousand for her support team to gather attachments and edit her writing. It's important to remember that your time and skill set is valuable. Don't sell yourself short for what you deserve. Federal grants can be a fantastic opportunity, but they do require some strategy. By knowing where to look, using the right resources, and collaborating collaborating with experts, you can navigate the process and land the funding you need to make a big impact. At the Global Grant Writers Collective, we offer comprehensive training on how to write federal grants. As a good starting point, consider taking our free mini course or checking out our resources page, which includes a free grant budget template specifically designed for federal grants. In a nutshell, exploring federal grants is like fishing in the ocean, full of larger opportunities compared to other grant sources. We've covered where to find these grants, who can apply, and debunked the misconception that they're overly difficult. With proper preparation and collaboration, navigating federal grants becomes achievable. So get ready to cast your line into these abundant waters and secure the funding you need to make big waves for your organization. Thanks so much for watching, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss our next video.